Welcome to Season 2 of Girls' Night Out, Cat Fever, a sci-fi romance in 5 episodes. Episode 3 is up next.
On the day of the symposium, I called Danek to wish him luck, and if I'm being honest, to make sure he was showing up. His wife was in tears. She told me he had disappeared the night before, so I did what I promised I would do.
Ladies and gentlemen, for 20 years our next speaker has carried out groundbreaking research on Toxoplasma gondii. He is here today to present his research findings titled Toxoplasmosis, a game of cat and mouse for public health. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Danek Vesely.
If you know Dr. Vesely, you know that I am not he. I'm Dr. Grace Rowland, Dr. Vesely's colleague. Dr. Vesely disappeared from his home last night. The police have been notified, and they're investigating the disappearance. Dr. Vesely knew there would be risks in presenting his research at this symposium, so he took the precaution of recording his presentation so that you would hear him no matter what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Danek Vesely.
Hello. If you are watching this, I am unable to present to you in person. My absence here today demonstrates the power of this latest mutant strain of Toxoplasma gondii. Ladies and gentlemen, this parasite, quite simply, changes what it means to be human. As a young boy growing up in Ostrava in the former Czechoslovakia, I loved to watch Tasha, our cat, as she lay in wait, hunting for mice. Even though I loved Tasha, I still wanted the mouse to get away. Today, we find that the cat has more than claws, speed, and patience on her side. The cat has an ally, a tiny parasite called Toxoplasmosis gondii. Little did I know as a young boy that one day I would come to study the interaction between 4 life forms, the cat, the mouse, the parasite, and we humans. How does toxoplasmosis work? Brilliantly. Let's look at its extraordinary...
While I listened to Danek's presentation, it suddenly occurred to me that members of the press were at the symposium and they would pounce on me after the presentation. So I discreetly stepped away and went outside. Then...
Gracie, I feel you.
Fanboy, we found the director.
Where? But how?
At a party. It's a long story, but yeah. Then we lost him. We know the name of the place he's been moved to, but we don't know where it is.
I will tell the acting director at once and ask for aid.
I've got to go.
Dr. Rowland, who do you think kidnapped Dr. Vesely?
Why did Dr. Vesely give you his presentation? Are you two romantically involved?
How do we know if we have cat fever?
I am Joe Born with a Tooth for WIT-TV, and this is the news at 6. Following the mysterious disappearance of local scientist Dr. Danek Vesely, his explosive research findings were presented in his absence at the World Health Symposium today. Ojai Born with a Tooth has the story.
Thanks, Joe. Eminent parasitologist Dr. Vesely warns that Whitney County is ground zero for a mutant form of the common parasite Toxoplasmosis gondii. The carrier for this parasite is the house cat, but it also infects humans. The parasite, which Dr. Vesely calls cat fever, alters the brains of infected humans. I'm here with Clarence Pinhorn, Environment and Health Manager for Whitney County. Clarence, what is your department doing to keep Whitney safe from cat fever?
There is absolutely no need to panic. As a precaution, we recommend that all meat, fish, and seafood be completely cooked. If you are handling soils, make sure you wash your hands afterwards. If you have a cat, use a face mask when handling the litter tray and make sure the kitty litter is out of the reach of toddlers.
Meanwhile, communities all over the world are responding to the news of cat fever.
Angela Kwok here in Beijing, a city of 21 million people, where the government has declared zero tolerance for cat fever. Local officials are capturing and impounding any cat found outdoors. Distressed owners must pay a fine of 1,000 yuan to get their cats out of impound and back home.
Here in Park Avenue, New York, a gunfight between the Alley Cat Association and the Alliance for a Cat-Free America has erupted. Police arrived on the scene minutes ago and are dispersing the crowd with tear gas.
Patrick O'Neill here in Sydney, Australia. A community group called Mothers for Healthy Children are demanding that the soils at all public schools are tested for cat fever and decontaminated if necessary. They will not allow their children back to school until their demands are met.
Commencing thought sharing with Zanditha S.
Acting Director S, I have good news. Actually, it's extraordinary. The Inception subjects on Earth have found the director.
Wonderful.
I request permission to facilitate his rescue.
Warden, you know the rules. You cannot interfere with the realities under your care. I'm sure the humans will figure something out.
But he is our director. How will he get home if we don't help him?
I am your director now, Warden. Are you partitioning your thoughts, Warden?
No, Acting Director.
Do not interfere. The director knew the risks of vacationing on Earth. End thought sharing with the Warden.
Thought sharing has ended.
Kali, let me explain. The Leonakians have a collective consciousness. They abandoned individualism a long time ago. They believe the individual, the single consciousness, causes conflict, jealousy, greed, and lies. As such, the mind of each Leonakian is open at all times to sharing. Having secret thoughts, what they call partition thoughts, is forbidden. Zanditha S. accused Fanboy of partitioning his thoughts. He hadn't, but he sensed that Zanditha S. might be. Mr. Ferndale had placed a black hood over Danek's head so he couldn't see where he was being taken. Then, Mr. Ferndale and Mirko had driven Danek to the homestead on the outskirts of Whitney. They led Danek into a house and down steep metal stairs. Danek felt the air temperature drop as they descended.
I find my sense of hearing is much more acute with this hood on. It's quite fascinating.
In here, Dr. Vesely.
When the hood was removed, Danek found himself in a windowless room, sterile, white, clean. Danek looked from Mr. Ferndale to Mirko.
Gentlemen, now what?
Mirko placed a shackle on Danek's ankle and chained him to a workbench.
All this because I'm talking at a symposium? Mr. Ferndale, please.
Miss Van Feline wants you to stay here for a few days. Here's the nurse now.
Hello. Now, it is much nicer for everyone if you just take the wafer and swallow it. Otherwise, I have to use the feeding tube, and that won't be very pleasant.
Oh, is that cat fever? Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I cannot be infected with cat fever. I am already infected with an earlier variant. Yes, I am immune.
Well, that may be so, but I have my instructions, and after you take the wafer and receive the truth, the High Priestess wants you to do some training.
Training?
I am Joe Born with a Tooth, and this is the news at 6. In response to fears of a cat fever epidemic, neighboring counties have placed roadblocks into and out of Whitney County. Delivery of essential supplies and services to Whitney County now requires a permit. Shop owners are feeling the pinch.
Here at the Shop and Go Grocery Mart, we ran out of toilet paper 2 days ago. Then rice. Now the pasta's gone. Even the gluten-free stuff. People are just going crazy. I had to break 2 ladies who were fighting over a jumbo bottle of Coke Zero.
Mayor Bill Thompson of Whitney County is calling for calm.
We have organized airdrops of supplies until this epidemic is under control. There is plenty of everything for everyone.
The world is demanding a cure to cat fever. Here in Whitney, biotech company Feelright leads the world in the manufacture of vaccines. We asked Feelright's CEO, Tasha Van Feline, for comment.
Ms. Van Feline, is Feelright working on a cure for cat fever?
Feelright will lead the way when the time is right.
What was Feelright's reaction to Dr. Vesely's symposium paper on cat fever?
In a word, surprised. Dr. Vesely's research had not been peer-reviewed. We feel it was premature for Dr. Vesely to talk about cat fever at the symposium.
Are you saying that Dr. Vesely is wrong?
Not wrong, just misguided. But no one doubts Dr. Vesely's passion and commitment.
Later that night, Tasha and Cream Puff snuggled together and watched Tasha on the news.
For Dr. Vesely to talk about cat fever at the symposium.
Are you saying that Dr. Vesely is wrong?
Not wrong, just misguided. But no one doubts Dr. Vesely's passion and commitment.
Clever, Tasha. You have planted the seed of doubt.
I just wish they could see what we see. If they joined us, they would understand.
Yes. Why not help them? Help them see the spores. Put the spores in the food and the water and the air. Give the spores to everyone. Everyone.
That is a beautiful idea, Cream Puff.
The scientist has the spores in his lab. Take the spores. Give them to everyone.
You're right. That is the solution. I'll see to it, my beloved.
Was Tasha having a conversation with Cream Puff? Or was she having delusions? Danek said one of the potential effects of cat fever was schizophrenia. One thing was for certain, as far as Tasha was concerned, her conversation with Cream Puff was very real. Lane and I knew times were strange, but we were blissfully unaware of what was going on. So blissful that we were running auditions for our band, Girls' Night Out, in the back room of our friend Paul's pub. Clementine was traveling back on her motorbike from Guatemala, so when she could, she would join the auditions by video conference call. That was great, Fiona. Thank you.
How many more?
Just one. She should be here in about 5 minutes. Clementine, you still there?
Present. This next person will be the one.
I like your positive thinking. Where are you, by the way?
Chihuahua, Mexico.
Hey, Clemmy, do you know what Fanboy meant about that number, 8 billion?
I do. That will be the Earth's human population on November the 15th, 2022.
That's in 2 years' time. What is that, a forecast?
No, I know it. I think that's my power. The future is like a house of mirrors, an unlimited number of options radiating out in all different directions. I can see all the paths, and I know which one is best, so I lean in.
Did you lean in when you had that head-on collision in Guatemala?
You know, I did. I think That's when I first manifested. It sounds crazy, but in a split second, I knew what I had to do. Otherwise, a truck driver, a family of 4, and I, 6 people would have died. But hey, I'm alive, and so is everyone else.
I'm gonna have to get used to you talking like a Buddhist monk.
Yeah, me too. Gracie, please tell me that you and Fanboy have finally shagged.
There hasn't really been time.
There's always time for a shag. Madam, I believe you are losing your touch.
I agree. The girl needs sexual healing.
Is this the girl band audition?
Yes, it is. I'm Lane, that's Grace, and the tiny person inside the phone is Clementine.
Hi, sorry, I thought you'd be younger.
Me too. Every time I look in the mirror.
What do you play?
Keyboard and guitar. I'll just get set up, okay?
Gracie, we need to talk to the Laniakeas soon.
How do we talk to them?
Fanboy will set it up.
Problem is, I have to wait for him to talk to me. It's not like I have his phone number.
Okay, I'm ready.
What do you want to play?
How about taking care of business?
What do you think, Clemmy?
Great choice.
We had finished the audition, and we were packing up when...
Thought sharing commencing with Fen B.
Gracie, Clementine, Lane, I feel you.
Fanboy, we were just talking about you.
I felt that.
Wow, this is way better than a conference call. I can hear everyone perfectly.
Lane, it is very good that you found the director. Oh, I'm so glad he's alive.
He's pretty pissed off.
While director is on Earth, I have an acting director. She is very strict. She will not allow me to help you find him. Technically, she is right. We should not interfere in your reality. But worse than that, now she wants to go ahead with the cull, and she has the authority to do so.
What about letting humans lead the change and all that?
The acting director is not fond of humans. We must find the director and bring him back.
We want to meet her.
I don't think she will agree to that.
Bloody hell, Fanboy. She's happy to exterminate billions of humans, but won't have a little chat first?
I will ask, but don't get your hopes up.
Fanboy, you need to grow some.
What does that mean? Grow some.
Grow some. Late 20th century American English slang. It means to mature or enter puberty, as in grow some pubic hair or grow some testicles. At puberty, male
Thank you,
testicles...
Cognos. You are disappointed in me, Gracie.
I don't think it matters where you're from. Sometimes you have to break the rules. The rules aren't always right. Cat fever was in the news, and suddenly it was a bull market for biotech. Tasha was in the office watching the soaring price of Feel-Right stocks when Mr. Ferndale appeared in the doorway. He was carrying a medical tissue transplant case with a sticker on the side that read, "Warning, hazardous biomaterials."
The material you asked me to retrieve from the doctor's lab. His lab assistant was wearing full hazmat gear. May I ask what it is?
Cat fever spores.
Are they safe to handle?
Perfectly. As long as you don't open it. Please take the case to the homestead immediately. Is Mr. Borg with you? Send him in.
Mr. Ferndale stepped out, and Mirko came in. Mirko let his eyes wander, openly admiring Tasha's lavish office, with its incredible harbor view. He finally let his eyes rest on Tasha. He thought Tasha looked good enough to eat. Tasha took off her glasses and eyed him coolly.
Close the door, Mr. Borg. Thank you. The birds that you organised for our party were less than satisfactory.
Oh, why not satisfactory?
They were illegal. I had the authorities at my home.
You wanted pretty birds. I got you pretty birds.
It was very embarrassing, but I believe we have the situation under control. Mr. Borg, I'm happy to pay you, and you can have the birds for whatever you plan to do with them, but I have a small favour to ask of you, and if you agree, there will be a bonus. Do you know how to operate a drone?
Tasha and Cream Puff had a plan which they called the transformation. Tasha had 100 vials of cat fever spores, enough to infect every human on Earth 50 times over. She had the parasite. Now she needed a way to spread it. So Tasha started to do what she did best. She networked. First, she shone her considerable charms on Mayor Bill Thompson.
Hello, Bill. It's Tasha. Bill, I was hoping you could do me a teensy favour.
There you are, Clarence. Let's walk and talk. Do you know Tasha Van Feline, CEO of Feelright?
Yes.
Well, she's hosting a delegation from, well, where is it? Starts with an M, I think. Malta? Is that a country? They have expressed a keen interest in your water management system. Apparently it's world class.
We like to think so.
Sure. Anyways, she asked whether you could give this delegation from, wherever, a tour of your water operations.
Yes, I can do that. How many people are we talking about?
2, I think.
Have we done a security clearance on them?
Oh, I'm sure these fellas aren't going to do anything. Just show them around. 1 hour tops. Thanks, Clarence.
The Maltese delegation, as Mayor Bill Thompson called them, were Mr. Ferndale and Mirko Borg. Well, at least Mirko was Maltese. Clarence handed each man a visitor's lanyard.
This way, gentlemen. This is our water main, the source of the drinking water for Whitney.
Where is the actual water?
The water? Well, it isn't here.
Will we see the water today?
No. Access to the reservoir is restricted. The entire facility is managed from our control facility. It's all digital. Surveillance, access, process control. Everything you need to know is right here in this building control panel. Follow me, gentlemen.
May I take a photo?
No, sorry. You can't take photos or videos in here.
Mirko and Mr. Ferndale exchanged unhappy looks and trailed after Clarence. The tour didn't take long. It was all over in 15 minutes.
Well, any questions?
Not for me. Thank you, Mr. Pinhorn. That was most informative.
If you think of anything, here's my card, and here's a brochure about our system. I'll have your visitor passes, please. Good day.
Asshole.
Don't worry. It's no secret where the reservoir is.
Birds International.
Well, Griffin, you've certainly been busy out there in Whitney. This is the second form you sent through in a week. A Wildlife Act infraction. You're going to have to pace yourself, buddy.
Did you read it?
I skimmed it.
It's Tasha Von Feline, the same person who's sponsoring Purrfection Park.
Right. About that. I'm flying out to Whitney tonight.
You're coming here. That's great. I can take you out to the marsh and you can see what we're up against.
Sure. Hey, look, Tasha wants to take me out for a round of golf. I think she's going to make Birds International a peace offering. You can come along.
Thank you. I'm not really a golfer, though.
Oh, don't worry. You can be my caddy. You know how to push a golf trolley, don't you?
Oh.
Great. You can watch how I work with the corporates. They're some of our largest donors, so we have to keep them on side. But Griffin, let me do the talking. Listen and learn. We'll pick you up bright and early tomorrow.
Mr. Ferndale and Mirko were hoping to tip the spores into the water supply, but they couldn't under Clarence's watchful eye, so they waited until dark. Dressed in dark clothing, the two men stood on a hillside overlooking the Whitney Reservoir. Mirko had a tablet that controlled an unmanned drone. Mr. Ferndale stood next to him, looking around anxiously.
So there's the top-secret reservoir.
How many people drink this water?
About 500,000.
It's too heavy. We should take some out. Better to do 2 trips.
She said to drop it all in one pass. Anyway, it's getting dark.
Fucking wind!
The drone made its way towards the reservoir. It hovered near the perimeter fence. Mirko twisted his own body, willing the drone to rise.
Be careful. That thing's expensive.
Do you want to do it?
The fence! Look out for the...
The drone cleared the fence with inches to spare, and then dipped and flew low over the water of the reservoir.
Ha-ha! Got it!
Drop the spores now.
Suddenly, a gust of wind blew across the water and pushed the drone backward against the fence.
Oh, fuck!
That's an alarm.
Oh, that... I can't. It's stuck.
I'll get it.
In those shoes?
A security guard back at Whitney Water noticed a control panel lighting up. He looked at it for a moment and then picked up the phone.
Yes?
Mr. Pinhorn, you asked me to call you if any alarms went off around the reservoir. Yeah, one has gone off on the fence.
Have someone check it. Quick as you can. Call me when you know what it is.
Mirko and Mr. Ferndale scrambled down the bank to the reservoir fence. The drone was about 4 feet out of Mirko's reach, wedged into the fence.
Great. Now what?
This is an electric fence.
Just a little further. Right about there.
I can see it.
What is it?
It's a drone, I think.
Can you reach it?
It's too high, but I can climb up there.
Just a sec. I'll turn off the electric fence. Okay, go for it.
While Eric from Whitney Water climbed the fence, Mirko and Mr. Ferndale waited patiently in hiding for him to retrieve their drone. When Eric climbed back down from the fence, Mirko tasered him.
Eric?
Mirko relaunched the drone. The wind had died down as it often did at nightfall. The drone soared to the center of the reservoir and dropped its payload of billions of cat fever spores into the water supply for Whitney.
Eric? Come in, Eric.
I am Joe Bourne with the Tooth, and this is the news at 6. Residents in Whitney are demanding that cat owners keep their cats indoors. Meanwhile, in France, cat owners are taking drastic action to protect the rights of their pets. Foreign correspondent Guy Deneau has the story.
Thanks, Joe. Belinda Carr, the mayor of Paris, has implemented tough new laws restricting the movement of cats in public spaces. In response, a pro-cat group called Chador has staged an interspecies marriage ceremony for over 300 cats and their owners. The cat owners hope that the marriages will give spousal rights to their cats. The candlelight service was conducted by marriage celebrant Edith Belleville. Belleville gained notoriety last year for conducting a marriage ceremony between global pop star Chou Chou and the Eiffel Tower.
The next morning, Griffin waited at Bird International to get picked up by Skip for the golf game when Ojai showed up with 2 coffees. Your brother still hadn't figured out that maybe Ojai was interested in him.
Morning, Griffin. Latte, right? What are you wearing?
This is a golfing outfit.
Surreal. Why are you golfing?
I don't know. It's my boss, Skip, Tasha von Feline, and the mayor. Skip thinks she's gonna offer us something.
That's a power lineup. I think you should mic up. Look, I have this really small one. Looks like a button.
Record the conversation? Isn't that illegal?
As long as you participate in the conversation, it's okay. Just make sure you say something.
But my boss told me not to say anything. Birds International, this is Griffin.
Is that my caddy?
Yes.
I'm downstairs, buddy. Are you ready?
I'll be right down.
Yeah.
Now, you two promise me no matter what he's wearing, no quips.
It's not me you need to worry about. Oh, here he is.
Griffin, I think you met Mayor Bill Thompson at the town hall meeting. And this is Tasha Van Feline, a major sponsor of Purrfection Park.
We haven't met, but Mr. Rowland has been to my house. Are you any relation to Dr. Grace Rowland?
She's my mother.
It's a small world. Let's go play some golf. Driver.
There was Skip, Tasha, and Mayor Bill Thompson, all impeccably dressed in their beautifully coordinated golf clothes. And there was your brother, Kali, in a pair of ill-fitting Bermuda shorts that he'd borrowed from your father. Griffin trailed along behind them, awkwardly pulling Skip's golf bag.
Griffin, you know you push the golf trolley by the handle. You don't pull it. Try it. It's easier.
Skip, I understand that you've requested an environmental impact study for the Purrfection Park development. That's really going to hold things up.
Tasha, it's an important bird habitat.
Oh, but I love birds. I love nature. Purrfection Park would establish a huge aviary, world class, the largest in the world.
These are wild birds, Tasha. Birds need their freedom.
Skip, is there anything as glorious as a lady golfer sinking a long putt? Skip, you know that Purrfection Park will be a $15 million investment for the county? That's a lot of jobs. Look, I know that Birds International does great work in the county, but if you can see your way to softening your stance on Purrfection Park, we would all be very grateful.
You can build this park anywhere and put a man-made water feature in the center. Why destroy a natural habitat?
That's a fair question. Griffin, Whitney Marsh is adjacent to the homestead, a farm owned by the Ailurophile Society. It's 250 acres right next to the marsh. We plan to create a cat wellness laboratory and research facility there as well. So of course, we'd love to integrate the homestead with the marsh and achieve our vision. This is just the first park. We want to franchise the Cat Wellness Park concept across the United States and go global, of course.
So you want Birds International to stop our action against the marsh development because it's the first in a global cat park franchise? What about you, sir? What do you think?
You're doing a fantastic job out here, Griffin. I just want you to pace yourself and be happy.
Skip, here are 1 million reasons why you and Birds International should be happy.
That's very generous.
It's a donation, of course. Think of all the good that Birds International can do with that kind of money. Let's face it, wild animals have always had to make room for us. It's just progress.
We'll certainly think about it.
Gonna head back. Are you okay with the golf trolley, sir?
Griffin didn't wait for an answer. He left Skip with the golf trolley and walked back in the direction of the clubhouse. He felt a crushing disappointment. Then a golf ball hit a tree right next to his head. Griffin ducked.
Stay off the fairway, Griffin. It's a shooting gallery out here.
Is he going to be a problem, Skip?
Griffin? No. He's not on the payroll yet, so technically he doesn't work for us.
What Tasha, Skip, and Mayor didn't know is that Griffin had recorded their conversation. And before they finished 18 holes, Murmuration had a copy and was posting it on TikTok.
Thank you for listening to episode 3. Stay tuned for episode 4, which is coming up next. Bringing this story to life are our wonderful voice actors. In order of appearance, they are Nancy Zelno is Grace, Greg Flynn is Master of Ceremonies and Patrick O'Neill, Matthew Moore is Fen B, Rich Green is Joe, Christina Molina is Ojai, Mimi Wong is Angela Kwok, Sarah Zversinuk is Zanditha S, Jerry Schultz is Danek, Cole Lewis is Mr. Ferndale, Lisa Spiegel is Nurse, Wendy Page is Tasha Van Feline, Joe Demansky is Cream Puff, Greg Rogan is Mirko, Chuck Galco is the Mayor, Mauricio Rivero Borrell is Clarence, Dan Egan is Griffin and Eric, Chris Tannehill is Skip, Jennifer Lyles is Lane, Mary Ann Watson is Clementine, Christian P.K. Reeve is Cognos and Guy Deneau, Abigail Hallen is Candice. Other roles were performed by Cole Lewis, Mauricio Rivero Borrell, Joe Demansky, Peter DeMarc, Christina Molina. Girls' Night Out Season 2 is written by Mary Labrie and produced by women of a certain age. Original music, We Are Alive, was written and produced by Dan Egan. Casting, directing, sound engineering and editing was done by Mary Labrie. Girls' Night Out is the proud winner of the Australian Podcast Award for Best Fiction in 2022. For news about the Girls' Night Out series and the behind-the-scenes stuff, follow us on Facebook or on Instagram. Our handle is @GirlsNightOutUniverse. If you like the show, leave us a review or a comment and share us with your friends and family. If you want to help this team of indie developers and actors win Best Fiction Podcast for 2023, please vote for us. Links are on our Linktree at Girls Night Out Podcast. Episode 4 is up next, so listen up and thank you for joining us in this reality vector.